Whether you're a full-time traveler or a traveler going on vacation for a few weeks, getting medical coverage and trying to figure out what to do with your insurance can be quite complicated. After 3 years of travel, we think we've figured it out and we're going to share it with you. Stay tuned. So, who are we?
We are Chris and Steve. We're EatWalkLearn, and we have been full-time Nomad travelers for the past 2.5 years.
Yeah, and we in 2021, we sold everything in our Denver, Colorado home, packed up our car, sold that, packed up the house, sold that, put what's left over into our carry-on suitcases, and we've been traveling the world ever since with everything we own right in our carry-on suitcases.
That's right.
Yeah, so we've been having a blast, and we've been in so many different countries and come up with so many different medical situations. We've got a lot of experience to share with you about how we've sorted through all our medical needs and our insurance needs as we've traveled around the world.
Yeah, and you know,
Go ahead.
Health insurance is really important. So we're not young anymore. We're kind of in that in-between stage. We don't qualify for Medicare or anything. I'm 63 years old. Chris has a birthday coming up next week. She's going to be
57!
I thought you were 39.
Yeah, and the 19th celebration of my 39th birthday or something like that.
So anyway, so we kind of fall into that gap where, yes, we definitely need health insurance, and it can be really expensive. So we figured out a way that we can get insurance all around the world, everywhere that we travel to, and also be able to use what we call geo arbitrage and able to get some medical procedures without having to break the bank.
Yeah, so let's first kind of go through some definitions and walk through the types of insurance. So first, there's travel insurance. So this is the type of insurance that just covers travel cancellation or travel interruption. You often see this, like if you go buy a ticket online and you get to the bottom line, it says your ticket's $50 or $100. For another $50, you can get insurance. That's what this is. So that's if your plane gets canceled or your luggage gets lost or you miss a connection, you'll be reimbursed financially for whatever losses you have.
And sometimes just by the credit card that you use, you can get travel insurance through your credit card.
Right. The second type of insurance is travel insurance with medical. So this is that travel interruption insurance, but it also throws on medical care. But this medical care is not a full medical care. It's just medical care that you'll get if you need it in your country where you're traveling. So for example, you have a heart attack, you get hit by a bus, you break an arm or whatever, you get food poisoning. This medical insurance will stabilize you in that country, and then it will ship you back to the U.S. to finalize your care under the insurance that you have in the U.S. So that might be your Obamacare or your Medicare or your employer-provided care when you get back to the U.S.
And in most cases, you're going to be traveling for a short period of time. And travel insurance makes sense because you've got a home base and a place that you'd want to go back to take care of your real medical needs.
Right. So then the third type of insurance is that comprehensive medical insurance. So this is like what you might already have in the U.S. You've got it with your employer, you've got it through Medicare, you've got it through Obamacare, or maybe through Medicaid. Somehow you're fully covered for your medical insurance. Now, most of those policies in the U.S. don't travel outside the U.S., and that's when you need a policy to cover you outside the U.S.
Right.
For Steve and me, since we don't live in the U.S., technically, we don't have employer insurance, we don't have any other types of insurance, we need to have a medical insurance policy that travels to us in every country but the USA.
So when we left the United States, we needed to have a medical policy that would cover us. And interestingly enough, what we chose from IMG Global covered us everywhere in the world except in the United States.
Right. We chose an IMG Global medical policy, the silver and bronze, or bronze and silver, I don't remember which one. It was the annual policy. It cost us $200 a month, and it had a $5,000 deductible. So in the first 6 months of our travel, we didn't use it at all. We were all around the UK and Mexico. But in Mexico, we did get some medical care, which was not included in the policy. So that was all of the wellness and dental and those types of things. Steve got some dental work done.
Yep.
I went to go see a acupuncturist and got some acupuncture and some physical therapy done in Mexico. Wasn't covered on the policy. We just paid out of pocket for that piece of cake. Right. So then the second year of our travel, so that would be in the year 2022. So the entire year of 2022, we were also outside the country for the entire year. But, and one of the reasons why we wanted to release this video right now is we know it's that insurance shopping time of the year. The end of the year when everybody has to look at all their insurance policies in the US and redecide what they want, what kind of coverage they want to have in January for the following year. So in our first year, we took advantage of that November, December time period, and we decided to just sign up for Obamacare, the ACA, the Affordable Care Act insurance policy in the U.S. because with our $50,000 a year travel budget, we actually qualified for no premium. So we thought it's not going to cost us anything out of pocket. Why don't we just go ahead and pick up an Obamacare policy for 2022?
Right. And again, since we weren't in the United States, our IMG Global Plan was working great for us, helped us feel secure, even paid for part of your knee operation.
Right. So I ended up getting knee surgery in Malaysia. I got orthopedic surgery and stem cell replacement on my knee. Here's a video of that. A lot of people have asked questions. By the way, an update, my knee is doing great. I would do the policy or the procedure all over again. That procedure cost about $10,000, and surprisingly, I didn't expect it, but IMG Global paid about half of that, which was really nice. They also, while we were in Malaysia, we got those full wellness checks.
Yeah, absolutely. Kuala Lumpur, if you need a recommendation, is a great place for medical care. English-speaking doctors, really high-quality facilities, and felt very comfortable getting our physicals there, and actually had a couple of follow-up tests with cardiologists, and feel really, really good about the medical care that we got there.
Yeah. So to kind of conclude 2022, we had Obamacare at home, which we didn't use, and on top of that, we had the IMG Global for the entire year, and it did great. We filed a claim against it. We had a great return, and that was, I think we said it was $200. I don't remember if I said this or not. $200 a month and a $5,000 a year per person annual deductible.
Right. So now
it's 2023.
We're coming into 2023,
Yeah.
and we're at the same time a year ago, at the end of 2022, making decisions about what are we going to do for medical care in 2023 for healthcare, and you decided to sign up for Obamacare.
I did.
Right? Okay. And I want to get the timeline straight.
So I signed up for Obamacare again, and because we knew in 2023 we would have the first half of the year we would be traveling. We'd be in the summertime. We'd be in the U.S., and the last half of the year we would be in Australia. So that was a different set of needs and a different situation that we had to think about with our insurance. So again, it was November, and so we picked Obamacare, like Steve said, and then we still had IMG Global for the big first part of the year. So from January to April, we had Obamacare for the US, and then we had IMG Global. I don't remember, we were in Southeast Asia. We had IMG Global covering us all over Southeast Asia for the first 4 months of the year. We then got to the US in April,
Right.
and we had Obamacare for the summer. And how'd that go?
Exactly. Well, it really didn't do much for us. It would have been good if we had some critical need, something that was a drastic emergency that they have to get down to Livingston, Texas, which is where our coverage was. Just a little tip that you really need to read your policies when you're signing up for Obamacare. It's county by county specific.
I screwed up on that one. I did not read the policy well enough because I really didn't think we were going to be using it, and I didn't realize that the policy that we had in 2023 only covered us in one county in Texas. That was a major, major mistake.
Right. But good news is it's almost done with 2023. We're not going to need that particular insurance. There were some advantages. They had some telehealth care that we could have taken advantage of. But again, because it was no premium, it didn't really cost us anything. So because we're in that budget situation where
we don't have to pay any premiums.
We didn't pay. So we had it if we needed it in an emergency, in critical care situation.
Yeah,
we could have used
and in the summertime, we were in Seattle and California and Maine and Florida and Denver, and we were never in Texas. So anyway, moving on. So that was the summertime, and then the end of the year, we left the U.S. in October and we went to Australia. So again, we were in the situation that we had to find coverage for us outside of the U.S.
Yeah. So again, to back up just slightly here. So we had IMG Global, that was our coverage outside the United States. We actually canceled that policy when we got back to the United States. There was no reason to have IMG Global because it didn't cover us in the United States anyways.
And it was $200 a month. Why spend $200 a month for the 3 or 4 months we were in the US for a policy we couldn't use? So we canceled it. So then now we're in October and we need a policy again. Now, what was different about this situation when we had to pick insurance over the previous time we had to pick an international policy was we knew we were going to be back in the U.S. again in April. So we're in Australia from October to April for exactly 5 months and 29 days. Now, travel and policies with medical, we have yet to find one that doesn't do this. If you know one, let us know. The maximum you can get those policies for is 6 months. So we took a look at our choices and we found a policy called GeoBlue Voyager Choice, which was a policy that had $1 million deductible or $1 million maximum on it and a $500 deductible. Now this policy, it did a couple of things. It covered us in two scenarios. If we needed coverage in Australia, while we're in Australia, we could get it. Or if we needed coverage to get us, if we needed a way to get back to the U.S. to use our Obamacare, the travel policy would also cover us to get back to the U.S. Because when you travel with a medical situation, it ain't just getting a $500 ticket. You might need, a helicopter. You might need a special airplane. You might need some sort of situation to make you comfortable to get you back. And that flight from Australia to the U.S. is quite long. So we felt it was worth buying a travel policy with medical care that not only would stabilize us in Australia, but would also get us back to the U.S. Now, in this scenario, if and when we have to use it and we have to get back to the U.S., both Obamacare will cover us and the travel policy will cover us in the U.S. for whatever care we might need for that period of time.
Right.
And we'll just take a look at the deductibles and the coverage and see what makes sense.
So we've got this great travel policy, super low deductible, and it was really affordable. How much is that travel
It was
policy?
$1,740 for the two of us for 6 months. So a couple $100.
Which was less money than our IMG policy was last year for outside the United States, and it's got better coverage.
Well, yeah, and just to note that when we did price IMG Global as a solution for this year, the price had gone up to $300 a month. So we start off, we have Obamacare the whole year. At the beginning of the year, we have IMG Global. We drop that. In the summer, we have just Obamacare, and then we continue with Obamacare, and then add the GeoBlue Voyager on top of that for the month of for the year 2023.
Now it's the end of 2023, and we need to make our decision for Affordable Care Act for 2024.
Right.
So we're in the same situation where we spend about $5,000 or $50,000 a year. So we are in a situation where we're able to get that with a zero premium
As well.
Yes,
right,
for
as well.
Obamacare.
Right. So, and we also took a look at our travel for next year, and we realized we're going to be in the U.S.
Back in the U.S.
Yeah, we'll be in Australia for the first half of the year. In the summertime, we'll be back in the U.S., and then we'll be leaving again. So, like our 2023 year, we had the same type of travel schedule for 2024. So, having made the mistake last year on picking our Obamacare, this year we really got into all the different policies. And we found a policy with Obamacare that did two things for us. Number one was it covers us the entire state of Texas, not just our county. And number two is it provides us emergency care outside of the U.S.
Right.
So, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So we ended up with the Blue Advantage Bronze HMO 707, and that has, a $7,000 deductible per person. And would stabilize us, get us back to the U.S., and take care of any needs you have anywhere in the state of Texas.
That's right. And again, we feel good about that. Now, one of these things is, insurance is one of those things you don't want to use it, right? I don't want something bad to happen and having them have to ship me back to Texas for some kind of operation or something. But it's good to know, it's peace of mind to know that the insurance is there for us and the care is there for us if we need it.
So in 2024, it'll be similar to 2023, where we start off the year with the travel insurance policy on top of Obamacare, then Obamacare at the end of the year. Looking at our travel for 2024 and 2025, I don't think we'll be back in the U.S. once we leave in October. So it's likely in 2025, we'll be gone the entire year, and we'll go back to something like IMG Global or maybe Cigna Global or Aetna Global. All of these big companies have global medical policies. We'll just look at that.
Maybe we'll do another video about that. But there's one last thing that I hope you stayed until the end of this video, because
You know what we didn't do?
What did we do?
We didn't ask them to subscribe.
Oh, please subscribe.
Please subscribe and like us on Facebook and we're on Threads. Come and join us over at Threads. Anyway.
Yeah, so I'm glad you stayed till the end, because there is one more point that I really want to make again. I know I made this before, and that is that there is high quality medical care available around the world. There are great facilities, great procedures, great doctors, And I have felt very comfortable in the countries that we've been in where we've sought out medical care with getting
You know,
that.
and because of this, Steve and I don't feel like we have to be back in the U.S. for our medical care. We, most of the time, are okay with getting medical care elsewhere in the world. I mean, I don't know that, like, if you needed a heart transplant, you'd want to be in Vietnam,
Yeah,
maybe. You might,
maybe.
You probably
I
wouldn't
think
be
I
there
want
to
to
see it.
go back to Texas for that.
I don't know about Texas, maybe Massachusetts or something. Sorry, Texas. Anyway, but you know, if I had hand surgery or shoulder surgery, maybe I would be okay with getting medical care someplace else besides the U.S. So we're not necessarily requiring to go back to the U.S., but we certainly want to have the option to choose other places in case we do need some medical care. That's it for insurance. If you want to know more about my knee surgery in Malaysia and how I had orthopedic surgery with stem cell replacement therapy in Malaysia, or you want to hear about the amazing wellness checks we had where we paid $500 to see 9 specialists each, combined total $500 for our annual wellness check, you can watch the knee video here and you can watch the Malaysia medical wellness check video here. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again next week.